Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Today I have the opportunity to bring you informational item D1A, which is the academic and operational continuity briefing resulting from our cyber incident that we've been navigating. As I bring this item, I want to draw your attention to an accompanying document that is titled the Academic and Operational Continuity Briefing, available attached to today's agenda, and will also be posted to our website. So let me begin with a summary of where we have been since suspicious activity was first detected on our network on November 6th. Over the course of recent years, our Board of Education has received a twice-annual cybersecurity briefing on the cyber prevention posture of the district, the daily monitoring and interception of external attacks, and the planned response should the organization ever face a cyber incident. When suspicious activity was first detected on our network on November 6th, our team activated that response plan and immediately engaged with Homeland Security, the FBI, and an external investigator, along with local officials from GEMA, the Henry County Emergency Management Agency, and we notified the Department of Education. On November 9th, we advanced steps on our response plan and severed our network, causing an internet outage across the entire organization and network disruptions across the entire district. What we know today is that the severing of our network was indeed an essential action that, while creating extraordinary inconvenience across the 52 schools and district departments, significantly mitigated the scale of impact that could have been otherwise experienced. So following this significant step of severing the network, we outlined in our response plan two key objectives. Objective 1 has been to identify the source, scope, and impact, if any, of what began as suspicious activity and is now known as a cyber incident. And objective number 2 has been to securely reconstruct and restore our network and network applications to our entire organization. So let me start with objective number 1, which is the source, scope, and impact of this cyber incident. Progress on this objective is incredibly dependent upon the partners that have teamed with us to investigate. This investigative group is made of that external cyber investigator, the FBI, and Homeland Security. Now, regarding the source, we learned over the Thanksgiving break that the source was indeed an unauthorized user with the intent to access our network and cause harm. And on Thursday, November 30th, we were informed that the source of this incident was a ransomware attack initiated by a criminal organization operating outside of the United States. Because of the increased clarity provided to our team regarding the source, we took the steps to inform our community and remind employees and families alike to consider the types of proactive measures one may take if aware of a cyber incident credited to a criminal operation. Suggestions and best practices can be found on our district website. Now, regarding the scope, we are pleased to report that the essential and core applications were not accessed in this cyber incident, and severing of the network on November 9th and that inconvenience that people have endured since then is largely the reason why. Our student information system, Infinite Campus, our HR and finance platforms, our email system, along with Google and Microsoft 365, are secure and clean. What we do know, however, is that there is a portion of our network, I refer to it as a container inside our giant network, official terms, right, tech team, that the unauthorized user did successfully access. This container of our network predominantly housing historical files and procedural documents. And that leads me to them reporting on the impact of this cyber event. The impact of the cyber incident remains under investigation. We've turned over the contents of this container, the portion of our network, that is known to have been accessed by the unauthorized user, to a third-party data mining or document discovery team. This team will comprehensively and methodically review the access portion of the network, and if they discover any instance of personally identifiable information being exposed, the individual will be formally notified and appropriate resources then provided. So now let's shift to objective number 2. Objective number 2 has been to securely reconstruct and restore the network and network services to our 50,000 users. So first, let me recognize that our school leaders, our teachers, and our staff in every single school and department have had extraordinary efforts displayed to replan, retool, reconstruct, redo, rethink in order to keep our schools open for students and for learning to stay at the center. But I do understand that this has been no small feat, and it has taken everyone. And for that, not only am I thankful, I do want to applaud every one of our professionals and our students. After 11 days of our network disruption, our end users began to feel some very beginning stages of restoration, with a limited scope of applications being reconstructed, tested, and then pushed out to the organization. Just to think about that, reconstructing every application from the ground up, testing it, and then pushing it to our field, first to employees and then to students. This has not been perfect, but there has been substantial progress. We have begun an enterprise password reset, starting with employees, and we'll move forward with students, hopefully this week, which has been a major milestone in our recovery and reconstruction effort. And we will continue to see evidence of the restoration of our network over the coming days and weeks as we set our eyes on a holiday break. 7 more wake-ups, I believe. It won't be until after we return from the holiday break, however, that we intend to open the entire internet service back on for full functionality throughout the organization, because it will follow the completion of our recently acquired MDR and EDR solution being deployed throughout the district. Now, for a full list and a timeline of the services that have been restored, you can visit the comprehensive academic and operational continuity briefing that is attached to the agenda, and as I referenced, will be on the website. And as always, I remain committed to bringing updates, progress reports, and any setbacks to our communities and our employees. And while I understand this inconvenience that has been created, I actually remain motivated by the extraordinary ingenuity that our classroom teachers have displayed, the agility of our students, and really the overall dedication of our entire staff for the resiliency and dedication to this work that we get to do together for our community in Henry County. I can also tell you that we're not alone. Schools and hospitals have become the #1 target of this type of criminal activity, and we join a growing number of school districts that have been targets this year alone. I am so proud of our network services team, who have worked around the clock since the week of November 6th, with a depth of care for our employees and our students, and a true commitment seen nowhere else to restoring our full functionality. It is an unmatched effort to any organization that you can find. And I'm so pleased to see some of you here today, and we recognize you as an organization. Now, in the meantime, in order to keep the operations of our district intact, what we did 4 years ago to make everything digital has now required for us to make everything manual. So we have captured the procedural changes that have been required to maintain ongoing operations. At a special called meeting of the Board of Education on November 27th, the board authorized Emergency Resolution 2023-1127, declaring a local emergency due to the network outage. The network outage, of course, has created tremendous strain on relied upon routines and processes that have now required redesigning. And there are implications for state and federal reporting requirements that needed to be adjusted. So following the authorization of the emergency resolution, every adjusted procedure has been documented and communicated to applicable users and is captured in the summary of the academic and operational continuity briefing. To date, this cyber incident response has required expenditures that total $724,390. Predominantly, the bulk of that figure is associated with our investment in the next and most sophisticated layer of cyber prevention tools that was authorized by the board on November 27th. It is an investment in MDR and EDR solution and is important for the 24-hour surveillance and response to suspicious activity, and was necessary to be in place as we reconstruct and reintroduce the network to our field. Finally, let me go ahead and just share that all communications that have been distributed to the community and to employees have been placed on the district website, as will this academic and operational continuity briefing, along with the best practices one may want to consider when an organization is facing a passable data privacy event. We are updating FAQs, and we will continue to post updates to the academic and operational continuity briefings to the website as well. In addition, we have done media interviews, and there has been a tremendous amount of publicity regarding this event. And we have submitted our content as required to our legal organ, the Henry Herald. You can visit our website at www.henry.k12.ga.us, which might be a new web address if you're just visiting, if you're a routine visitor. As I close, Madam Chair, I would like to take one additional moment to acknowledge and thank this Board of Education for your effective governance during this incident. I think about the work we've done on the front end before an incident was ever known to us. I think about the regular communication and updates that we have regularly had over the time since November 6th, and the authorization you had to the emergency resolution on 11/27. Stands their role in creating conditions for the productive management of a crisis and an expedited solution that will restore us to normal operations. Madam Chair, this concludes my report, but I remain available for the board's discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Are there any questions for Dr. Davis? Cobb?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions. I just really wanted to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Davis for her leadership during this, and also Dr. Blanton and his entire team, because they have worked around the clock since this happened. And not only, as Dr. Davis was sharing, has this, had some reactionary things that needed to take place, but Dr. Blanton did such a great job in helping us prepare for an incident like this that really created the conditions for it not to be as bad as it would have been. And so I'm just so thankful for each of you and your leadership through this, and I'm just so proud to have you guys in our school system. Just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cobb. Mrs. Pope?
Yes, Mrs. Cobb took the words straight out of my mouth, but that is... those are my sentiments exactly. So thank you so much, Dr. Blanton, for your leadership. Thank you to y'all's entire team for the tireless work that I know y'all have put in and continue to put in. It definitely does not go unnoticed, and we are so grateful. And Dr. Davis, thank you for keeping the community so informed along the way. And I also am just so proud of our entire organization and how flexible everyone has been in continuing to ensure the best for students every day, despite the circumstances. So I'm really grateful for our team.
Thank you very much. And I would just like to say thank you to Dr. Blanton again, just as the other board members have said, and to Dr. Davis. I know it was a job. It was a huge job, and you worked throughout the Thanksgiving holidays. You didn't get any rest. Your team didn't get the rest that everybody else got. But I just want to say thank you for all that you have done and you continue to do to make sure that the technology in this district is working and working well. It has not been an easy job. I understand that, and we all understand that. But I just want to say how much we appreciate you and your tech team.